Planning for literacy events includes preparing a print-rich environment, gathering props to stimulate literacy play, allowing time to develop and enact a play narrative, and providing regular opportunities to freely explore art and literacy materials. It also includes organizing classroom communication and classroom routines such as daily agenda, menu of free choice activities, and attendance charts so that print facilitates and supports both communication and routines. Gathering, organizing, and then storing all the materials necessary for developing theme centers rich with literacy materials can become difficult to manage. One of the tools that early childhood teachers have begun developing and implementing is the Play Prop Box. Like the dress-up box of yesteryear, the prop box holds all the non-consumable materials of a themed play center. Theme play can be reintroduced or retrieved by children at other times if all the materials can be easily accessed in a prop box. Prop boxes can be as simple as cardboard boxes labeled with the contents, or as elaborate as clear tubs with resealable lids to display the contents. Budget concerns will dictate what works best for you. Prop boxes, unlike the more typical centers outlined earlier in this chapter, can be organized around themes that are unusual or seasonal. Literacy materials and environmental print items should be packed into the prop box for easy access at a later time. Prop boxes can be made by the teacher before the start of a school year and expanded as students contribute items from home. Prop boxes can be used to pack up centers after their initial development for storage and later retrieval. Portfolios are a helpful way of organizing various examples of children's work and progress. Artists use portfolios to demonstrate their skills and achievements. Teachers can use portfolios in a similar manner to portray the literacy work and progress of each student over a period of time. Portfolios typically include samples of children's writings, story retellings, interests, reading logs, and so forth that the teacher and child have chosen. The Weekly Planner. The Weekly Planner is a practical tool that serves as a bridge between the daily lesson and the long-term plan. The planner helps preschool teachers to coordinate learning activities on a weekly basis so that they fit together and join to build children's language and literacy skills. The day-to-day purpose is to unite oral language and early literacy learning to the advantage of both. When children improve their oral language comprehension, this lays the foundation for better reading comprehension later on. When they are guided to attend to specific sounds and language, children become better listeners who can get the most out of conversations and book reading experiences. As they interact with different texts, children encounter new words that increase the vocabulary they can bring to reading and writing. When you make your weekly plan, you need to consider which speaking, listening, reading, and writing skills will be carefully guided, and which ones will be less catered to in the round of daily activities for that week. You should think about what you will teach to the whole group of children, to small groups, and to individuals that ensure that children have ample time to explore new language uses, words, and print skills on their own. You need to consider the instructional approaches you will use to expose children to language and literacy content and skills. For rich language use to occur, you need to bring these important considerations to mind as you prepare your plan for the week. Rhythm of the day. While organizing your weekly planner, you may want to think about how speaking, listening, reading, and writing skills can become well integrated into the rhythm of the day. Greeting time. In addition to modeling and exchanging social courtesies that encourage speaking and listening, greeting time is an ideal opportunity for children to practice their print skills. One good idea is to have children sign in by writing their first names or making their mark on chart paper at an easel. Activity time. Much of activity time play and table work should be filled with language as children play together and work on small projects. Outdoor time. Use outdoor time for extending language and literacy experiences by modeling new games children can play and for assisting children in using language effectively to negotiate the rules and procedures for play and to resolve conflicts. On neighborhood outings with the children, point out environmental print that is present on stores and businesses. Carry information from these literacy walks back to your settings, incorporating it into your lessons and play centers. Essentials in the daily plan. Your daily plan is your guide to action in the busy, unpredictable world of your setting. It helps you to organize and manage your time with children to their benefit as learners. Time well spent involves you in working with the whole group, working with small groups, and having children play well independently. When working with the whole group, you should include some direct teaching and demonstrating of speaking, listening, reading, and writing skills. For example, you might role-play language and appropriate behavior for buying or selling in the class grocery store. Plan to spend about 10 to 15 minutes each day teaching specific concepts and skills for talking, reading, and writing with a whole group of preschoolers. You should group children in pairs or small groups with 3 or 4 members for instructional purposes. Children make better progress in these situations because they have more chances to use and attend to language and print under the guidance of an adult. There are 2 different types of groups that work well: heterogeneous groups and homogeneous groups. Heterogeneous groups are made up of children with different ability levels. Homogeneous groups gather together children with similar strengths and weaknesses. Neither type of group should be seen as permanent, but rather as flexible, with children leaving and joining different groups depending on the instructional purpose. For example, you might gather 1 or 2 heterogeneous groups together to make a sand clock in the whole class exploration of time and timekeepers. Later, homogeneous groups of children may be formed for board games and puzzles that develop alphabet letter knowledge. This allows you to pitch your instruction so that it is neither too hard nor too easy for any one child in the group. If you have English language learners in your classroom, consider how you can alternate their experiences. Sometimes having them work with children who are more fluent in English, and sometimes having play center board. The simplest type of management board is a pocket chart. Write each child's name on a card in large black letters. Decide how many children you want in each center. Place the names in each row of the pocket chart. Beside each set of names, place an icon depicting where those children are to go during playtime. At the end of each day, move the children's names down to the next space so that their activities change for the next day. The flow of the day. The schedule helps everyone to determine what comes next and also provides a written record of what has been accomplished. Discussion of the daily schedule can become part of the everyday routine and at the same time draw children's attention to print and its uses. English language. English language learners will find this routine extremely helpful, as it will make the daily flow of activities predictable, enabling them to show that they know what is going on in the classroom. Another helpful tool is a play center board for organizing and managing children's playtime. You will need to teach the children how to use the board, which will require weeks of practice. But this is time well spent because it reduces interruptions while you are with small groups, and it encourages children to take charge of their own learning activity. Use of the board will benefit all of the children as they will quickly learn to recognize their own names and their classmates' names, and to connect written words with what they are doing. Some soon learn to read the words for the different play content areas. For children to work independently at an activity, they need to know the rules that apply and the consequences of not abiding by the rules. You should ask the children to help you make the rules for work and play. One way to begin is to ask the children why it is necessary to have rules. Make a list of their responses on chart paper. Ask them what would be good rules for playtime activities. List these as well. Usually children come up with negative statements, such as no hitting. When all the children have had a chance to contribute, ask them to help you group like rules into categories. For example, no hitting, no punching, don't throw books, don't spit on books, don't leave things out, and don't yell at each other.